Chloe has gone solo and diverged very much so from her sister.
Oh my.
Oh god, it's so cold! Okay, I'm good, I swear. Now, these directions are radically different artistically, but musically, not so much. I recognize it's kind of hard to believe that Chloe has not really veered off that much musically. I mean, she went from this to this. So even though aesthetically that is a radical change, Chloe's primary aesthetic is still vocals, and really, really good vocals at that. Overdubs like this are obviously not new. It's not a radical idea. Oh, it's a major continuity fail. I just took them on and off, so I guess we're sticking with this. Anywho, what makes this decision really interesting to approach overdubs in this way is that she's following in the footsteps of Missy Elliott.
Till I see that scabs, booty claps, flying across the map. How I like, yeah, we both winning. I gave you the business, but you don't want wear the tie.
And of course, Beyonce. So in some situations, this sounds like these songs can almost be in a mashup, but clearly the vocal difference is really, really pronounced. I once heard a saying that innovation doesn't come from radical new ideas, it comes from old ideas crossing paths at the same time, for the first time. Chloe has explicitly stated that Beyonce is a major, major influence on her, and of course her sister.
I love Destiny's Child and Beyonce. We were the biggest fans, hence all the Beyonce covers.
Of course.
But I remember when she announced Parkwood and how she was she was gonna sign artists. Yes. I'd always tell Hallie, we're gonna be the first one signed. We're gonna be the first one signed. And I was so adamant about it because that's how much I loved her. I'm a true Beehive stan.
Listen to these layers and how many little vocal nuggets there are. And wear headphones with this, kids. I look like I'm 12 and I'm calling other people kids. Bad life choices. You're gonna hear all of these little snacks, all of these little ear candy pieces.
Say my name, say my name is around you. Baby, I love you.
Now listen for the same thing in Chloe's track.
Oh, baby, it feels so nice. Treat me like I treat me. Love me like I love me completely.
Now, contrary to what some idiots say that hip hop and rap are not sophisticated, Chloe is taking harmonies that she made with her sister that critics said were too complicated. A really good example of Chloe and Halle doing something that's a little bit more sophisticated would be in Cool People, the introduction specifically. Listen to the rhythm and how it's syncopated with the vocals, and yet the vocals are so smooth as to be almost, you wouldn't even recognize that it's perfectly on time.
It don't know where to start.
And then listen to the harmony. It's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your mind.
These old days I don't feel that much.
What you just heard right there is a musical concept called mode mixture. Let's get into it. I'll make it easier to understand. So a chord in the major scale would be this. A chord in the minor scale would be this. And so if you're making music in the major scale, you can borrow from the minor. And not only do they have mode mixture in Cool People, they actually get there with counterpoint. I'm not going to get into that, but it's cool. Get it? See what it did there? Yeah.
Oh, I hate you.
But what's different about what Chloe is doing now than what she was doing with her sister is that now she is using her vocal overdubs for sound design. And this also is not a new concept.
It is.
Chloe is using a lot of the same traditional harmonies that she did with her sister. Harmonies that have been done since antiquity. But that's not to say it's antiquated, of course. It's pretty cool. And clearly, I would know what cool is because I'm hip with the kids On fleek. Do we still say on fleek? Is that a thing? Who am I kidding? I'm chronically Caucasian. Doja Cat is using harmonies and chorus effects to thicken the mix, get it more epic, and then also to emphasize certain words. That's pretty standard. It's standard because it's effective. It's great. Like I do it on my tracks, just mine aren't as good. But when it comes to Chloe, these overdubs come in different times and different spaces in the mix, while also being rhythmically driving and relevant. It's kind of neat.
On your zipper, I like the way that's on. You do it different with me. We got that kind of bounce. Turn it up.
It's interesting because in a way it kind of more ethereal, but it does kind of make it more catchy, a little bit more sticky.
That's some neat trick.
I mean, what Chloe is doing kind of sounds like a sonic nebula. I feel like that's a little pretentious. She makes the mix sound good in my ears. Real good. I nailed it. By every single metric, Chloe Bailey is killing it, and I'm happy for her. Music is bangerang. That's cool for people who were in the 90s. Commercially, she's killing it. She's just biometric. She's doing really well. And so I'm excited to see more. Chloe and Halle may well get back together and tour together, but I don't really think that that's going to happen, unfortunately, at least not anytime soon. Halle is totally brand safe and Disney. And Chloe, by her own admission, is taking a sensual, sexual direction. I'll let her talk about that.
I feel so strong and powerful and confident, and I think there's such strength in a woman's sensuality, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that's what I love so much about Donna Summer and even Nina Simone and Khalees and Beyonce, Janet Jackson. She did it so well, and I think it's so powerful, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman expressing herself, not only through her music and her voice, but also her body.
That's from the Terrell interview. By the way, if you don't watch Terrell, dude's like super charismatic. Now, you'd think that Chloe's incredible track record of delivering very profitable recordings and performances would have an easier time going solo, but that actually wasn't the case, which actually really, really shocked me.
I was like scared shitless, like even right after I got off stage, I just like boohoo cried, because what people don't know is like it's been like such a fight, and like sometimes when you get door slammed in your face and people telling you no, you can't do something, and like you prove people wrong, and it was like all my emotions were like put out on the stage at that moment. Like I finally did it, and it's like it was only the beginning of my journey, but it was like I'm proving to myself that I can do it, and I'm proving everyone who said I can't wrong.
Chloe Bailey is 23 years old. The amount of courage and psychological strength that you need to go off on your own, to combat people who are pushing back against you, to release a track and then do a VMA performance 2 days later. That's intense. I love that Terrell gave this comment, and I think it's apt.
That was your debut solo single,
really was.
right? That had to be, we're gonna talk about, the excitement of it, but it also had to be very scary. Because it's your first one on your own.
Yeah.
So tell me about the thought process behind that, just mentally. It's your first song without Halle.
Chloe has had to really triumph over a lot of hardship to get to where she is. I don't think she would ever go back. Maybe as a one-off or like a tour or for a separate project. But as long as Halle is Disneyfied, I kind of think that might put them at odds, which I'm a little sad, because Chloe and Halle together made music that really meant something to me. I am so lucky that after I had committed so hard to opera and then COVID took all my gigs away, that y'all showed me artists that I'd never heard before because I had my head in the sand. Chloe and Halle are definitely on my top list of people that I've been shown whose music I've really fallen in love with. I'm glad this recording was done with the terrible camera, because when you see tears in HD, it's not flattering. I like good music a lot. if you like this kind of video, I'm actually making a series on why Hallie is the perfect Ariel, and we're going to get in depth to it. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much, and I hope to see you again, or not. Maybe. Come back, please? Is that desperate? Here's a video. Here's a subscribe button. Got it. Video. Yeah. See? A little, a little video trickery there. Yeah. Nailed it.